Okay, so in this video, we'll be taking a look at the math worksheet. So if you haven't already, pause the video and try all of the questions on the math worksheet. And once you're done, you can press the play button to see if you got them correct. If there are any questions that you got incorrect, please let me know so that we can go over them together. Okay, so question number 1 says, find all the factors of 16. So remember, factors are numbers you multiply together. So the factors of 16, you can multiply 1 times 16. You can multiply 2 times 8. And then you can multiply 4 times 4. So the factors of 16 would be 1, 2, 4, 8, and 16. Number 2. It says, what's the least common multiple of 8 and 6? So we can find the multiples of 8 and the multiples of 6. So the multiples of 8 are 8, 16, 3 8s are 24, and 4 8s are 32. So we can stop here. The multiples of 6, the first few multiples are 6, 2 6s are 12, 3 6s, 18, and 4 6s would be 24. So we can stop here because we see that the least common multiple, we've listed multiples for 8, multiples for 6, and we see that the smallest multiple that they have in common is 24. So LCM of 8 and 6 is 24. So make sure you're writing all of this down if you don't already have all of it down. Add 2 3/5 plus 1 1/3. So 2 3/5, and we're going to add it to 1 1/3. We know we can't add fractions unless they have the same denominator. So 3/5 and 1/3. Let's see what we get. So we know we're going to change it to 15ths, right? So 3 times 5, that gives you 15, and 1 times 5 gives you 5. 5 times 3 gives you 15, so do the same on top, and 3 times 3 is 9. So 3/5 becomes 9/15, and 1/3 becomes 5/15. Okay, so this becomes that, and this becomes that, and now we can add them. So 1 plus 2, that's going to be 3, so add your whole numbers together, you get 3, and then add your fractions together. 9 plus 5 is 14. And that would be your final answer. That is your sum, 3 and 14 over 15. Next it says, name 2 fractions that are equivalent to 4/7. So if the fractions are equivalent to 4/7, they are equal, right? So to find equivalent fractions, just multiply the top and bottom by the same number. So let's use 5. So 4 5s and then 7 5s. Now we can do it again. 4/7, if we want to find a fraction that's equal to 4/7, just multiply the top and bottom by the same number. So we're going to use 10. So 4 times 10 is 40, and 7 times 10 is 7. All right, so 2 fractions that are equivalent would be 20 over 35 and 40 over 70. Let's take a look at number 5. So for number 5 and for number 5, A and B, we need to find the unit rate. So if we know that it's $18 for 8 apples, they want to know how many dollars for 1 apple. So we have to divide by 8. That's how we got the 1. And if we divide by 8, 18 divided by 8, we know 8 can go into 18 only twice. 2 8s are 16, subtract, you get a 2. Put the 2 over the 8, so that's 2/4. And sorry, that's 2/8. And we know 2/8, if we simplify it, divide by 2, divide by 2, that's going to be 1/4. Now 1/4, that's a quarter, right? So our answer is 2 1/4, or remember the quarter part is 0.25 if you memorized your decimals. If not, you need to, because this will be very hard if you don't. So a quarter is actually 25, right? 25 cents like that. So it's going to be 2.25. All right, so that goes on the line. So it's $2.25. And then let's take a look at B.
It's 1 o'clock.
Okay, so B says we need to find the unit rate, and they tell us that 3 boxes can hold 36 cans, right? So I'm going to flip it. I'm going to say 36 cans in 3 boxes, 36 cans in 3 boxes. And they want to know, okay, 1 box would be how many cans? So remember, boxes are on the bottom. So 36 cans in 3 boxes. So how many cans in 1 box? So obviously to get a 1, we had to do 3 divided by 3, right? Whatever this is, just divide by the same number to get the 1. And whatever we do on the top, same thing, we divide by 3, and 36 divided by 3 would be 12. So hopefully, as you're watching the video, you're watching it and not writing at the same time that I'm writing. Just watch what I'm doing, then you can pause it when I'm all done and copy it down. Okay, so we see that it's going to be 12 cans in 1 box. So it says blank can, so you're going to put 12. So that's 5B. Number 6. Number 6, it says -3 and 3/4 is between what 2 integers? Well, we know it's -3 and -4, obviously, right? Because 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is -3 and 1/4, -3 and 2/4. So then this is -3 and 3/4. And then finally, we get to -4 over here. So we know that -3 and 3/4 has to be between -4 and -3. So that is your answer. So you would write -4 and -3, and that's your answer. So make sure you show all your work, including the number line. And let's take a look at the next example. -2/3 is between what 2 integers? So same thing. So if we're at 0, then it's -1 and then -2. So -2/3, that means we divide it into 3 parts. So this is -1/3, -2/3, and of course the 1 whole here is -3/3. So that means -2/3 is between what 2 integers? Between 0 and -1. So you can say 0 and -1. And that is your answer. Show your number line, show your work. Let's take a look at number 8. What is the ratio? Sorry, write the ratio 5 to 6 two different ways. So 5 to 6 can be written like this, 5 to 6. And you could also say 5 to 6. So these are the 2 ways, right? So 5 to 6 and 5 to 6. Because you can use the colon and you can use the fraction bar. Number 9. We're writing opposites. So the opposite of 2 and 3/7 would be positive version, positive 2 and 3/7. That's its opposite. All right, and the opposite of 3/8 would have to be -3/8. So if it's positive, its opposite is negative. If it's negative, its opposite is positive. Let's take a look at number 10. So for number 10, -4 and then -2 and 5/18. So we're comparing these two. So obviously this will be less. -4 is less than -2 because if you look at the number line, -4 is over here and -2 is over here, which is closer to 0. So it's bigger. So B says -3 and 1/4 negative 3 and 1/4, negative 3 and 3/4. So here we have negative 3, then comes negative 3 and 1/4, then all the way over here, negative 3 and 3/4. So obviously this one is bigger because it's closer to negative 3, right? Closer to 0. So we're going to say that it's greater than the second. Let's take a look at C. Negative 7.5, negative 7 and 3/4. So remember 1/2 would actually be 2 out of 4, right? So we're actually comparing negative 7 and 2/4 to the negative 7 and 3/4. So obviously this one is closer to 0, right? So it's going to be the bigger one. So we're going to say that it's greater than the second. All right, let's take a look at the next page. 11, Kevin is training to run a half marathon. His training program recommends that he run for 5 minutes and walk for 1 minute. Let R represent the number of minutes running and W the number of minutes walking. Fill in the table. So it says, we can underline where it says he has to run for 5 minutes, walk for 1 minute. And then when we look in the chart, so you see running is up here and walking down here. So it says when he walks for 1 minute, when he runs for 5 minutes, he needs to walk for 1 minute to cool down, right? And so that means if he does 10 minutes running, right, multiplied by 2, he has to do 2 minutes walking. We have to double this one also. When he does 20, then he has to do 4, right? Because remember the ratio, everything needs to double. So we double, 1 times 2 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4. 5 times 2 is 10, and then 10 times 2 is 20. So now we should get 40 over here, and of course 8 over here. So hopefully you have that. And last but not least, you want to know how much would he have with 50. So if we have 50 over here, then that's 5. Remember, this ratio is this unit rate is what we're using. So 5 to 1. If the 5 became a 50, then that means the 1 would have to be 10. Okay. And so we put 10, and this is the last one. Next, we have some more ratio tables. It says, the following tables show how many words each person can text in a given amount of time. Compare the rates of texting for each person using the ratio table. Who is faster? It says, hint, find the unit rate for each. So to find out who's faster, let's see who can type the most number of words in a minute. So, Michaela, Jenna, and Maria. So Michaela, Maria, so we know the difference. All right, so Michaela can do 150 words in 3 minutes. You can do 90 words in 2 minutes, Jenna, and then 120 words in 3 minutes. So let's find out how many words in 1 minute. Because if we can find how many words a minute, how many words per minute, we'll see who's the fastest. So obviously we have to divide by 3 because there's a 3 here. Over here we have to divide by 2 because there's a 2 there. And divide by a 3 here because there's a 3 there. So whatever you do to the denominator to get that 1, you have to do to the numerator. So 150 divided by 3 would be 50. So that's 50 words per minute. And here we get 45. So 45 words per minute. And here we get 40 because 120 divided by 3 is 40. So that's 40 words per minute. So who's the fastest? Michaela. She can do 50 words in a minute, more than the other people. Okay, so this is the end of the packet. If you got any of them wrong and you have any questions, please let me know so we can do them together. If you got all of them right, congratulations, you're all done. And you can go on to whatever it is you have to do next.